everyone, I am Dr. Durdana Oways, Department of Commerce, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. In the previous videos, we have studied about market structure, and in those we have studied about perfect competition and monopoly. While one is the most competitive market structure, the other is the least type of competitive market structure. Both of these are on the extreme ends of the continent. While perfect competition is a hypothetical situation, we neither find monopoly in the real life situation, that is the perfect monopoly. So today we are going to study about a market structure that is more near to real life situation. When you look around yourself, which type of market do you see? We see products like toothpaste, air conditioners, smartphones, soaps, food joints, sandwich joints. What type of market do they depict? Can we put them in the category of perfect competition? No, we certainly can't. And surely we cannot put them under a monopoly market structure. Then, what type of a market do they depict? Well, these firms do have some of the features of perfectly competitive market, like they have many sellers, but not so many as in the case of a perfect competitive market. They are also having many buyers. Moreover, there is free entry and exit in these type of market, but with some restrictions from the government. They offer goods that are very close substitutes having difference in quality and shape. Although the commodities produced by different producers can serve as perfect substitutes to those produced by others, yet there are differences in colors, form, packaging, designs, names, etc. So, there is product differentiation in the market. We also find that they have transportation cost. The high transportation cost play an important role in order to create discrimination amongst commodities. Similar goods, because of different transportation costs, are bought and sold at different prices. These market structures are also characterized by having a selling cost that was not prevalent in perfect competitive market. Here, advertisement also plays an important role because buyers are influenced to prefer a product by the level of advertisement, which influence their perception through radios, televisions and other audio-visual aids. Also, there is a form of government intervention because a particular brand is prohibited by the government by any other firm, so that there is a government intervention in the market. Moreover, there is no perfect knowledge to the buyer because these products are differentiated based on particular features like quality or service. So exact knowledge is not there with the buyers. Due to the advertisements that are being used, the buyers may think actual difference exists, which may not be true. Some people who think high price goods are better, they will surely avoid buying low price goods. Next, we also find that these firms take their own decisions as to the pricing of the products based on what feature they are offering with their product, which was not the case in perfect competition. But yes, it is a case with monopoly. In a way, they get the right of a monopoly to quote the price they think that is right, which includes, of course, transportation cost as well as selling cost. And like a monopoly holder, they also face a downward sloping demand curve. So which type of a market structure it is? Is it perfectly competitive market structure or a monopoly market structure? It is called as a monopolistic competition. A monopolistic competition is a form of imperfect competition and can be found in many real-world markets. Let's look at the brief history as to the development of theory of monopolistic competition. Till 1920s, the theories of perfectly competitive market were being widely used. From Marshall to Knight, they were being used very often. But after World War I, there were economic changes that were being seen and observed in the market, and as such, these theories lost their relevance. It was Piero Sarfa who in late 1920s pointed out first the irrelevance of these theories in the current economic scenario. He pointed out that in real world, we can see that firms have absolute right to produce and sell a particular brand of product, and the government makes it illegal for other firms to copy the same product. As such, we see that the monopoly power is there over production, pricing, selling of the product of a particular firm. But on the other hand, we see that the products have also got very close substitutes that can be seen in a perfectly competitive market. These heterogeneous products involves a great deal of non-price competition, which is based on subtle product differentiation. Moreover, due to the close substitutes of the product, these firms have to face an intense competition for consumers as well as the market share. This intense competition make them take into consideration not only their individual demand curve but also the industry demand curve, which is of course the feature of a perfectly competitive market. He observed that each firm in a perfectly competitive market offering close substitutes to products are trying to create a monopoly for itself. How? By differentiating the product from one product to other in the market on the basis of certain features, thereby restricting other organizations to use similar features by the mandate of the law through logos, brands, and etc. This gives them a power to code their own price, thus making them a price maker, not a price taker. And we know price maker is a feature of monopoly, whereas in perfectly competitive market, firms are price takers. His observations were taken forward and developed into a theory by Edward Chamberlain, who can also be called as the founding father of the theory of monopolistic competition, and Joan Robinson. Both of them wrote books about the theory of monopolistic competition in 1933 by Edward Chamberlain, and Joan Robinson wrote another book, The Economics of Imperfect Competition, again in 1933. As such, monopolistic competition refers to the market situation in which there is a keen competition, but neither perfect nor pure, among a group of large number of small producers or suppliers having some degree of monopoly because of the differentiation of their product. Thus, we can say that monopolistic competition or imperfect competition is a mixture of both perfect competition as well as having certain degree of a monopoly. Going by the definition, monopolistic competition refers to a competition among a large number of sellers producing close but not perfect substitutes for each other. According to Professor Lerner, the condition of imperfect competition arises when a seller has to face a falling demand curve. A falling demand curve was also a feature of monopoly market structure. Similarly, in monopolistic competition also, the firm faces a downward sloping demand curve, implying that if he wants to sell more quantity, he has to lower the prices. Here also, the average revenue curve is the demand curve for the firm. The point where marginal cost intersects marginal revenue, which falls behind average revenue, determines the optimum quantity to be produced. Here, OQ is the optimum quantity. And the point where average cost intersects the average revenue determines how much profit will be there. OQ is the optimum quantity. At this point, when we extend the equilibrium quantity towards the average revenue, we get the price. OP is the price that is demanded by the entrepreneur for OQ quantity. Here, OP is more than the average cost. As such, the firm receives profit. If it is lower than the average cost, then the firm faces losses. In the short run, a firm under monopolistic competition can be having normal profits, supernormal profits, or making loss. If the firm is producing OQ quantity at OP price, and at this price the average cost is equal to average revenue, like in diagram 2, the firm will be earning normal profit, because here the average cost is equal to average revenue. But if the firm's average cost is lower than the average revenue, the difference leads to profit, which signifies a profit-making firm. In the third situation, if the average cost is more than the average revenue, what is going to happen? When cost is more and the average revenue that is being received is less, it is surely a situation of loss. So the firm can incur loss in the short run. In the long run, a firm under monopolistic competition will always be having normal profit. Why? Because the long run is characterized by a monopolistic competitive market that is having features similar to perfectly competitive market. In the long run, demand will decrease and average total cost will increase. Equilibrium: in the long run, there is a gradual decrease in profits of the organization. This is because in the long run, several new organizations enter the market due to the freedom of entry and exit under monopolistic competition. Plus, the profit also attracts new firms to enter into the market. When these new organizations start production, the supply would increase and the prices are going to fall down for the whole market. This would automatically increase the level of competition in the market. Consequently, average revenue curves shift from right to left and supernormal profits are replaced by normal profit. In the long run, the average revenue curve is more elastic than that of firm in the short run. This is due to the fact that an increase in the number of substitutes products in the long run leads to this phenomena. The long run equilibrium of monopolistic competitive organization is achieved when average revenue is equal to average cost. In such a case, organizations receive normal profit. So, can we say that the price elasticity of demand is relatively more elastic for monopolistic firm? Yes, because of the presence of number of substitutes and many sellers. So what can the firm do to ensure the demand curve is relatively less elastic? The answer lies in product differentiation and advertisement. So dear students, that was all for today. In this video lecture, we had studied about market structure. In market structure, we have studied about monopolistic competition, its features, meaning, definition, brief history and its demand curve. That was all for this video. Have a great day ahead. Keep learning, keep growing.